imagine you are scrolling through Instagram and you stop at a post that has a chart on it. Something like this. A red bar, a blue bar, one is clearly bigger, and you keep on scrolling. Maybe you don't think about it again, but your brain already stores the impression that Trump is way ahead in the polls. And that's the power of a chart. We see bars and curves, and we think proof. We see X's, colors, labels, and somewhere in the back of our mind something clicks. That must be true. Charts have the power to bypass our critical part of our brain and go straight to our gut. And most of the time, that's a good thing, because it can help us understand complex information. But that's not actually always true. I want to show you this chart again. It was posted on Donald Trump's Instagram account during the election between Trump and Biden. And you see a big red bar and a small blue one. And the difference between both looks really big. But if you actually look at the numbers, it's 43 to 49%. The difference shouldn't be that big, right? If you recreate the chart, the difference is actually very small. So what happened? By zooming in on just a small part of the data, you can exaggerate a difference that's barely there. In my chart, I started at 0%. In the other chart, the scale probably starts at 40%. I want to give you another example. This is a post about should Britain leave the EU. The red bar is to leave, and the blue one is to remain. And as you can see, it looks like a really big difference, but it's 39 to 43%. They start their chart at 37%. If, again, you recreate the chart, the difference is very small. And if, let's say, I'm from Britain, I am not really into politics, I'm not sure what to vote for, but I've seen a post somewhere on social media, I might think, most people want to leave the EU, I will vote for that as well. Manipulating data that well can really influence people, and even unconsciously. Just by scrolling past it for a few seconds, your brain stores the impression that most of us want to leave the EU. Another form of manipulating with data is called cherry picking. This is a graph about my progress preparing this talk. And you see on the left side, you see the progress bar from 0 to 100%. And you see the dates when I've worked on. And it looked like I made a steady progress, worked very hard. Now I'm on 100%. Maybe some of you already seen what I've done. I'm only showing you the dates when I was productive. And I hit everything in between. If I show you the whole data, it probably looks more like this. The first one wasn't technically wrong, but by leaving out certain data points, it can give a misleading image. Another form of manipulating with data or a question we have to ask ourselves is what to include or exclude in our graph. This is about how long does Putin keep heads of state waiting. We have Queen Elizabeth with 14 minutes, Barack Obama with 40 minutes, and the winner, 50 minutes, Pope Francis. He let the Pope wait for nearly an hour. But what happens if I include Angela Merkel? She had to wait 4 hours and 15 minutes. So what I include and exclude in my data can completely change how the image looks. The last slide I want to show you about manipulating with data is a presentation Steve Jobs held about the iPhone market share. And you see the green slice stands for Apple, and in his pie chart, it looks like it's the second biggest. But if you actually recreate the data, they're in third place. So by using a 3D perspective, you can exaggerate your percentage. So to sum up, what part do I show? What scale do I use? Do I start at 0% or 37%? What do I include? What do I compare with each other? And do I show all the dates? And of course, do I use 3D or not? All of this can change how the image looks. So we heard about what can go wrong when designing with data. Why do we actually visualize data? This is a table of numbers. They are made up by me. It's about apple harvest, apple picking in Vienna. You see the first line are the years from 1940 to 2000, and in the second line, you see the apples we've picked in kilograms. In this case, not a lot of numbers, but it takes some time. So what could I do? I could add some bars. At first glance, I see the increase each year, except in the 80s, we only picked 15 kilograms of apple, and you see the relationship between the years. But it doesn't tell me the story yet. So I could, and this is a very simple example of information design, I could stack some apples. It's like before I see the relationship and increase and decrease, It's countable, 1 apple 10 kilograms, 4 apples 40 kilograms, and it tells me the story. This is data about apples. Also another example, if I show you this slide and I would ask you how many eggs are on this slide, probably hard to count. Did I miss one? But if I color them red or make them even bigger, the data is understandable. Not all of us love numbers, but we all love a good story. And design helps us to tell the story behind the data. So we heard about why, now how do we visualize data? We all have our own visual literacy. That's information like colors, forms, shapes. Our brain understands automatically. We don't have to think about it. For example, if you sit in your car and you come up to a traffic light, it's red, you're not going to sit there and think, it's a red light, okay, that means stop, okay, I'm going to stop the car. You see the light and you stop. And I'm going to give you a few examples. I will ask you some questions, and I ask you to just shout out your answer. Which color stands for danger? Red. Which color stands for love? Red. Which of the triangles is positive? 1. Which line shows progress? 1. You all knew the answers, you all knew the design rules, and we can use these design rules, our visual literacy, to make information understandable and also quickly and easy understandable. So the next time you see a chart, make sure to look at the context, the colors, the labels, the scale, and ask yourself, what story is this graph or image trying to tell me? Thank you.